Hello, and you're watching the History Fella channel. In this video I'm doing a book review, and the book review is of Monte Cassino, January to May 1944, The Legend of the Green Devils. The author is Angelos Mansalis, publisher is Fonthill Media / Pen and Sword. I'd also like to thank Daniela Lipscomb for allowing me to read and review this book. The Battle of Monte Cassino stands as one of the most grueling, controversial and symbol-laden engagements of World War II. It was a clash that shattered the optimistic myth of Italy as the soft underbelly of Axis Europe, replacing it with the reality of mud, blood and vertical attrition. In Monte Cassino, January to May 1944, The Legend of the Green Devils, military historian Angelos Mansalis attempts to distill his 4-month nightmare into a concise illustrated history. While the shelves of military history are already groaning under the weight of Cassino literature, from Matthew Parker's sprawling oral histories to Sven Hassel's gritty fiction, Mansalis carves out a specific niche. By subtitling his work The Legend of the Green Devils, he signals a focus on the tactical resilience of the German 1st Parachute Division, where defence of the monastery ruins became the stuff of military legend. Mansalis begins by setting the strategic stage of the early 1944. The Allied advance up the Italian peninsula had ground to a halt against the Gustav Line, a formidable belt of German fortifications, anchored by the Apennine Mountains and the fast-flowing Rapido River. Dominating this line was the Monte Cassino, crowned by the historic Benedictine Abbey, founded by Saint Benedict himself in 529 AD. The author does an excellent job of outlining the Allied dilemma. Rome was the prize, but the road to Rome ran through the Liri Valley, and the entrance to the valley was watched by the all-seeing eye of the monastery. Mansalis breaks down the tactical impasse with the clarity. The Allies could not bypass the mountain without exposing their flanks, yet attacking it directly meant assaulting one of the finest defensive positions in Europe, held by some of the Reich's most elite troops. The core of the book is structured around the 4 distinct battles that raged from January to May. Mansalis ensues flowery prose for the precise military narrative, a choice that benefits the clarity of the complex operations. The first battle, Mansalis details the initial disastrous attempts by the American 5th and the British 10th Corps. He captures the tragedy of the Rapido River crossing, often cited as one of the US Army's worst tactical blunders of the war. The bombing, the book tackles the controversial destruction of the Abbey in February. Mansalis navigates this sensitive topic by focusing on the military consequences rather than just the moral debate. He illustrates the supreme irony of the bombing by turning the pristine abbey into a jagged pile of rubble. The Allies created the perfect fortress for the German paratroopers, who moved into the ruins immediately after the dust settled. The attrition. The narrative shines in its coverage of the third battle, where New Zealanders and Indian troops, including the Gurkhas, fought tooth and nail for Hangman's Hill and the town of Cassino. Polish victory. Finally, the review of the 4th battle gives due credit to the Polish 11th Corps. Mansalis describes his capture of the summit with a sombre respect, noting the immense casualties suffered by the Poles who were fighting for a homeland that had already been effectively lost to the Soviets. As the subtitle suggests, a significant portion of the book examines the performance of the German 1st Parachute Division. Mansless, whose background includes extensive research into military units and aviation, provides a granular look at how these troops, the Green Devils, managed to hold out against overwhelming Allied air superiority and artillery. This perspective is where the book offers the most value to military enthusiasts. Mansless details defensive interlock and fire plans, the use of the treacherous terrain, and the almost fanatical cohesion of the German paratroopers. He avoids glorifying the Nazi cause, focusing instead on the professional soldiering of the unit. The legend, referred to in the title, is shown to be a mix of propaganda and genuine tactical brilliance. These men indeed were fighting a hopeless delay action, yet they extracted a severe price for every yard of scree and stone. One of the defining characteristics of this volume is its reliance on visual history. The book is densely packed with photographs, some well known, others less common. These provide a visceral accompaniment to the text. We see the stark contrast between the abbey before the battle and the lunar landscape it became. We see the exhaustion etched on the faces of soldiers from both sides. However, this book is relatively short, around 176 pages. This brevity is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it makes for an accessible, digestible overview of the complex campaign. On the other hand, readers looking for deep, emotional oral histories found in Matthew Parker's work might feel this account is somewhat clinical. Mansless writes more for the perspective of the operations room and the regiment than from the foxhole memoir. In conclusion, Monte Cassino, January to May 1944, The Legend of the Green Devils, is a solid, well-researched addition to the library of the Italian campaign. It serves as an excellent primer for those new to the battle and a useful visual reference for those already familiar with it. Angelos Mansless has succeeded in stripping away the myth to reveal the mechanics of the battle. He presents Monte Cassino not only as a tragedy, but as a masterclass in defensive warfare conducted by the Green Devils, and a testament to the sheer bloody-minded perseverance of the Allied troops who eventually dislodged them. For military modellers, wargamers and students of tactics, this book is a highly recommended resource. For the general reader, it's a stark reminder that the road to liberation was paved with terrible sacrifice. In my opinion, I've given this book a 4 out of 5 star rating. That's Monte Cassino, January to May 1944, The Legend of the Green Devils, authored by Angelos Mansless, publisher Fonthill Media. And my thanks go to Daniela Lipscomb for allowing me to read and review this book. Thank you very much for watching and listening to this video. If you have any comments or you know more about this Monte Cassino, then please feel free to leave comments down below this video. And again, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And I shall see you very soon for more